Hi everybody, this is Brenda with Feel Better with Brenda. I help women feel better and more like themselves again without the use of medication. And today I wanted to do a box opening and review of the Freestyle Libre glucose monitoring system. Now, I don't know about you, I'm diabetic, a lot of people are, but I'll be honest, I have been really terrible about monitoring my blood sugars because I don't like the finger pricks. I can do them, I don't mind, but the time that it takes, it is so much hassle, and for a long time, my numbers were just bad, and I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know how bad it was because I knew it was going to be bad, and whatever the number was, it wasn't going to change that I needed to do really to manage my blood sugars better. And this year, in an effort to manage some inflammation that I'm feeling, one of the things that I need to do is to get better control over my blood sugars. And at my last appointment with my endocrinologist, he's as frustrated as I am, I guess, because he's got this patient who comes in. She never brings her monitor because there's no data on it, because she doesn't want to know. And all he can do is just throw more medication at me. And all he has to go by for what to do is my A1C test. So I have been working diligently to get those under better regulation. And at my last appointment, he gave me this thing called the Freestyle Libre. So here's the box. Here's what it looks like. And it says patient sample on it because this is one that his rep had given him that they just gave me. So I'll just say right now, if this is something that you're interested in, ask your doctor to see if you can get a sample to try it. Or if they can't, I know that you can get these through the pharmacy. So anyway, he gave me this patient sample, and I was really intrigued by what it was when he explained it to me. Basically, it is a way for you to monitor your blood sugar constantly without ever having to prick your fingers. Now, for somebody who doesn't like to monitor their blood sugar, especially if you're having to monitor several times a day, this is a fantastic option. And when he explained it to me, I was really intrigued and wanted to try it.
The system is comprised of primarily two pieces: the sensor, which is the size of 2 quarters and is mounted on the back of your arm, and the scanner, which is a little bit smaller than a deck of cards. The sensor has a small flexible filament that will be inserted into your interstitial fluid just underneath your skin. This filament captures data every minute and records an average reading every 15 minutes for the life of the sensor.
Let's get started with the unboxing. Okay, so here is the box that I received from my doctor. So inside, and I've already opened it, so you're going to see a little bit of wear. Inside you will see 2 boxes. One is the scanner, which is right here, and the other is a box for a sensor, which I have also already opened. And I'll show you that in a minute. But let's look inside the scanner box. So inside the scanner box, when you open it, you will see the scanner, which is upside down. So here's the scanner. You can take it out. It is a little bit smaller than the size of a deck of cards, but you get the scanner, and you get a quick start guide. There's a quick start reference guide. These are both really useful. I really like quick start guides whenever I get any sort of new technology because they're fast. There's those. There is a user manual in Spanish, and there's one in English. Okay, and then in the bottom, there's 2 other things. One is the power cord, and this is the same kind of charger that most people use for their phones. So if for some reason you lost this one, and I don't think I'll do that because this one's like bright yellow where all of my other cords are white or black, you can use a phone charger in order to charge your scanner. And then there is this little, it's like a credit card. It's plastic, but it's actually, it's a tutorial that you stick in your computer. And I haven't used this, but I guess you put it in the USB port. So this is the part that you put in right there. Okay? So that is what is in the box. Then the other piece that is in your box is the sensor. This is the little device. You're actually going to stick this on the back of your arm, and it can stay there for 10 days and gather data about your blood sugar around the clock. Is that so cool? So when you open this up, you will see the applicator. Now these have already been used, so I'm going to show you what this is like with a new one when I replace the one that I've been using. And then the sensor actually sits in this little cup inside that little device. You get these two things, and you get some instructions as well as an alcohol wipe. A couple of alcohol wipes, because you'll need to do that. So I will show you all about this when I change out the sensor that I have currently been using. This is the Freestyle Libre scanner. You will see it has a power button right here. Here at the bottom, this is a slot where you can use special test strips. If for some reason you didn't think that the Libre was getting accurate readings on your blood sugar, you could use special test strips and basically get a glucose reading the old-fashioned way by pricking your finger and putting some blood on the strip and getting a reading. And then over on, I guess it's probably on this side, here is the location of where you insert the power cord to charge your unit. Now, I have been using mine for about 2 months, and I'm just getting ready to need to recharge it again. So the battery lasts super long in this. Okay, so let me show you. When you first turn it on, it will prompt you to check your glucose. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. You press it a second time, and it gives you the menu options to check your glucose, which will take you back to where you were, to review your history, which is really great because you can see everything that's been happening, or to do settings. Now, when you first get your unit, you want to go to the settings, and I'm going to show you why. You can see you have a few different options here. You can modify the sound. You can set your target range. You can actually calibrate it, make sure it's working right by using a control solution. The control does not come with the unit. It probably comes with the strips, but I don't have the strips. You can set the date and time, which you will want to do, so you know that when your readings are happening, it's going right along with the actual time of day. You can set the language, the system status. There are some reader basics, and there's dose increment. I have not used very many of those because this is working beautifully for me. I know that when I first got my meter, the doctor's assistant actually set this up. She went ahead and set up the date and time, and then she also set the target range. So let me just show you that really quick. You press target range, and they can set the range. You can set the range. You can change this. So if you're doing really well and you want to go for a different number, or if you feel like the target range that you need is something different, you can modify it yourself right there. Okay? All right. So you can modify the sound. You can turn it off. You can have it vibrate. Things like that. I haven't done the control solution test. Date and time, you set it for there, so now you know what time it is where I am. You can choose the language, system status. I don't know what that is. Let's go check it out. System info, reader test, event log. Anyway, I have not explored this fully, mostly because I just use it to get my numbers. And I have to say, this is a totally handy little thing. So to load the sensor into its applicator, you first need to remove the foil top from the cup that the sensor sits in. And you see the sensor's right there. Then you're going to take the applicator and you have to unscrew this, and it's sealed on kind of like a milk carton. And then you're going to take this applicator and you're going to look for this notch right here because it lines up with a spot in the cup. You're going to line that up, put it in, and then press it down, and when you pull it out, you will have the sensor loaded on your applicator. Okay, so now we're going to apply the new sensor. What you do is you first start by locating a spot on the back of your arm that is not where a mole is or stretch marks. You can see I've got stretch marks right here, so I can't do it like that, but it needs to be somewhere on the back of your arm. I like to put my sensor up above my sleeve line, so where my farmer tan isn't, because it gets covered by my sleeve, and I just find that I prefer that. So once you've located a spot, you're going to take one of your alcohol wipes, open it, and you're going to sanitize the spot that you've chosen to put your sensor. I'm going to put mine right here. So we clean that off, give it a second just to cool. You can blow some wind across that, or a little bit of air, and then you're going to take your sensor. You're going to place it where you want it, and then you're just going to push that plunger in. And the spring is just a little bit stiff, but it really doesn't hurt. You might feel just a little tiny pinch, like that. And I got to tell you, I really kind of didn't feel that. You do a little bit afterward, but one thing I love about this is that I really don't feel it. Then you want to go around the outside of the adhesive to make sure that it's secure. So I just press that in and go around, make sure it's secure, and then it's in. Your applicator is now disposable. You can, put this in your plastic recycling or in the trash, whatever you think is best. Then you come to your scanner. You turn your scanner on, and it's going to give you the options to start a new sensor or review your history. I'm going to start a new sensor. Then it gives me the directions to go ahead and scan my sensor. So that's what I do just by sticking it right there. And it beeps, and it tells me your new sensor is starting up. The sensor can be used in 12 hours. So many people, I think, will often apply these at bedtime, since they won't be able to scan it during the day. But whenever you put it in, you have to wait 12 hours until you can start getting the blood sugar data from it. So it's been more than 12 hours since I installed my new Freestyle Libre sensor on my arm. See, right there. And so I want to show you basically how you get the data from that sensor onto your scanner. And so you press that power button. The screen comes on and it shows you how to scan your sensor. And you do it by getting on your rosary riveter, putting it right by the sensor, and when it beeps, it tells you what your number is. Now you'll see, let me see if I can get this closer. You'll see that it tells me my number right now, but it also shows the data for what's been happening to my blood sugar over the last 8 hours. Now it's morning, so what's cool is that showing me what happened while I slept. Pretty cool, huh? I know that some people actually have to get up during the night to check their blood sugar, see how it's doing. This actually gives you that information so you don't have to get up. Anyway, I think that is super cool.
To remove the sensor, I try to get my finger underneath the adhesive and I start tugging. It might stretch that bingo wing. You'll see there's just a tiny hole left behind, and on the sensor itself around the filament you might see just a little bit of blood. You can see how flexible that filament is. That's why it doesn't hurt. So let's talk for a minute about how to get the Freestyle Libre. I recommend you go to the Freestyle Libre website, and the web address for that is www.freestylelibre.us. And once you go to this website, this is what you will see. You will want to definitely make sure that you go to the buying guide. This is going to show you how to get the information. If you have Medicare, they have information on that. Also, as you scroll down, they have advice on how to get a conversation started with your doctor. And they also have a way for you to find participating pharmacies. You can do it either by map, or you can click on the download participating pharmacy guide. Now, this will bring up the names of all the pharmacies across the nation that are dispensing the Libre. I know in my local community, my doctor had a list, a pre-printed list of only about 6 pharmacies that carry it. That is a little upsetting. It does not include my favorite pharmacy, but it at least includes another pharmacy that I can and do use regularly.
Okay, so let's talk money. Let's talk insurance. I actually had to make a number of phone calls to find out about the coverage for the sensors. The sensors, they last 10 days. If you try to go more than 10 days, your scanner will actually not scan it. It's got a clock that's counting down how good the sensor is for. And so you're going to need to get prescription refills of the sensors. Now, hopefully your doctor can prescribe you a month's worth at a time, so you could get 3 sensors at one time, each one lasting 10 days. And the amount of money that you may need to pay out of pocket with your insurance will vary. Again, on the Libre website, they say that people will pay varying amounts, usually no more than $25 per sensor. Now, that's kind of a lot, but I will tell you that for me it is worth it, because now I have the information that is making a huge difference in how I'm able to manage my blood sugar. Where if I've got strips and Lancets, it doesn't really happen. And that's frustrating for my doctor, and it certainly doesn't help me. So I actually made phone calls to my insurance company and the pharmacy provider that my insurance company uses. And the people that I talked to, only one of them had actually even heard of the Libre. And I've been using it for 2 months already. And so if your insurance does not have the Libre on their formulary already, and at this point they're not likely to, but as it goes on, I think it will get added. Your doctor usually can send a request to the medical director, and that medical director can do individual approvals for coverage to a certain point. My coverage on this is at the lowest point, so I have to pay $25 for every sensor that I get. Like I said, again, to me it's worth it. But I encourage you to check out the accessibility information and the insurance information on the Libre website. It will be very helpful to you, so you know where you can get it and about how much you can expect to pay.
Okay, so my review of the Freestyle Libre, I have to say, I love it. Let me start with the yays. Number 1, there is no finger sticking. No more poking my fingers to get blood. No more vampire. 2, I don't feel the sensor. I worried it was going to be a stainless steel needle that was going to poke me while I slept at night and wake me up. It doesn't happen. It is a flexible filament and I don't feel it. 3, constant data. I can't tell you how incredible this is. Let me tell you what happened with me. So I take my medication at night, and I noticed a trend from having the constant data that my numbers would be good all day long, and then I'd get to dinner and I would have a spike, and I figured it's because my medication was running out. Well, I modified how I was administering my medication and I don't get the spikes anymore. That is empowering. I can manage that on my own, and because I have the constant data, I know what to do. 4, it's waterproof. That is really cool. I can take a shower, no problem. I can go swimming with my kids, no problem. It is waterproof for up to 30 minutes, and I don't have to worry whether or not it's going to work. It continues working. The downside of the Libre is, for me, and this is just me, so it might not be you, but for me, it's the out-of-pocket cost. My insurance has really great coverage for monitoring supplies, but not so much with the Libre. That said, I still pay it because having the information has been so valuable, and I'm actually monitoring now where I wasn't before because I was having to do the finger sticking. Also, the number of pharmacies. While you saw the list, and there are a lot of pharmacies across the US, and they're using big chain stores, which is a good thing, the pharmacy that I prefer to use is actually just a small town pharmacy, and I really wish that they would dispense it instead. Anyway, so that is what I think of the Freestyle Libre. I welcome you to go and check out the website, www.freestylelibre.us. Find out what you can about it and see if you can get one yourself and try it and tell us what you think.